What do you do when you're hired by a client and the issue in the case is one that's been litigated dozens and dozens of times, but the outcome is always in favor of the other side? Well, we faced that problem in a case not too long ago where we replaced the client's existing counsel very early on in the case. And the reason we were hired was because I asked the client when we met with the client, what was the strategy that the other firm had laid out? And the strategy made no sense. And so the client looked at me and said, well, what would you do? And I said, the answer here is you need to take this plaintiff that was suing and vilify the plaintiff. And there were good grounds for it based upon the investigative work that we did before we walked into the room on that pitch. There were plenty of grounds to show that the plaintiff was a bad actor in connection with the very facts of this particular case. And so from day one, we outlined a strategy where rather than being on our back heels and defensive, we were going to go on the offense. We were going to, in fact, demonstrate that the plaintiff had lied. The plaintiff was, in fact, committing a fraud on our client, and to use that as part of our defense, but using an offensive strategy. And it wasn't easy, but these cases are never easy. But ultimately, we found the evidence. We went to trial in that case. It was a bench trial, and the court in that case wrote a 250-page decision in our client's favor, affirmed on appeal, that became one of the seminal cases in that particular area and actually turned the tide on the cases that had seemingly consistently gone in the other direction. That is what we as litigators do. We must bring that type of aggressive and creative thinking to cases from the outset, as opposed to following the old playbook.